Welcome back to Project Brupeg. After a trip up the coast from Bundaberg to Gladstone, we're ready to bring the cadets from TS Gladstone on board and start training with them, and it was a full ship.
Hello.
Brupeg was a sunken fishing trawler that was stripped out and ready for the scrapyard. She's just completed a 10-year rebuild that's brought her back to life. With the help of volunteers and funded by our Patreons, community and subscribers, she'll be crewed by passionate people from around the world. If you'd like to be involved and support the project, please consider joining us on Patreon or subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description below. We have 18 cadets and 4 staff with us today, so it's going to be a very, very full boat. Once all of the cadets were ferried out to Brupeg, the volunteer marine rescue crew dropped out our driver for the small boat, so thank you very much guys for helping out with that. With Brupeg loaded, it was now time to start taking the cadets through the boat and getting them familiar with her.
And down that hatch, down the stairs, that's the engine room and below decks. Dame will show you that a bit later. Come on this way. Poke your head around here if you want. So this is what the cabins look like. This is the forward cabin here. And then next to that, on the port side here, is our office where we do our editing. Nice with the air conditioning, eh?
Yeah, it's nice.
I often find Dame just like, yeah, shut up.
And then we showed the crew what it takes to start Brupeg up.
So I always tie rags off to our engine oil, like all of our dipsticks, because it means you can easily check it. So you want to wipe it off, put your dipstick back in, and then, so have a look around. So you can see on the end of that dipstick, the very far end, you can see there's an H and an L.
Do you want me to pass it here?
Yeah, you'll do that. So you've got an H and an L, they mean high and low. There's 2 things that we're looking for. We're looking for the colour of the oil, and we're also looking for the amount of oil. Diesels will go dark and black with their oil over time, that's normal. But if it looks gross, if it looks sludgy or anything like that, you're looking for that as a visual sign, but you're also looking to make sure you've got enough oil. On the side here, we've got this grease pump. On this side, we've got same sort of thing. So I've just cleaned the dipstick off, and this one doesn't have letters, it's just got 2 little notches. So we've done our visuals, we've done our liquid checks, everything's working as it should. So I've turned on the electrics, so I'm just going to start it up.
With this complete, we're ready to start emptying the engine room of people, move the boat off the mooring and start heading out into the shipping lanes. For ease, we decided to leave the dinghy tied to the mooring. As you can see, it was a pretty full boat with 22 cadets and Jess and myself on the boat. Every space was taken up with people. What we try to do with our cadet tours is first off get everybody familiar with the boat, so we take about an hour and a half to do a tour of the boat so everybody can see every space, every compartment, every sort of system that we're running on board. It's a bit of a generalised look over everything, but they get a pretty good idea as to what the boat is and what makes her up. The next step is getting out into a safe, navigatable area. In this case, the shipping lanes of Gladstone Harbour are quite big, so we decided to get everybody out there, and that gives people a chance to get on the wheel, get used to feeling the boat, accelerate, the throttle, the gears, how they work, how they feel, and then also what it takes to steer a boat like this and get used to things like steering, delay, and so on. This is coming out of the Marina Basin and pointing straight out into the shipping channels. It's a very sheltered bay. It's blowing about 20 knots at the moment, but you just don't really see it when you're in that bay until you're out into the channels, and you can see the weather shows a little bit more on the sea surface. Gladstone is a big, busy harbour with movements of boats controlled by essentially air traffic control, but for boats. So they are aware of every movement that's happening on the harbour. So it's a good place for cadets to learn just how busy and how much information you have to take in as a navigator on a piece of water like this. This is your gears, so forward and back, and this is your accelerator. So push that one forward into gear, and then you'll feel the gearbox clunk. There we go, so we're in gear now. Now start pushing up your accelerator slightly. That's enough, yep. That's good, that's good. For some reason our VHF wasn't picking up a ship that was trying to hail us on channel 13, so one of the rescue boats that was already out with us came and let us know.
I'll be more relaxed now. We're
Alright, sorry, I'll give you back the wheel again, so can I shuffle it?
Yeah.
Okay, so turn to the right, see how the boat's drifting off to the left? So the boat...
If you'd like to find out more about joining the Australian Navy Cadets and the training that they can provide, there's a link in the description below to check out their website. And now come round to the left, see how it's starting to head off to the right, so just turn to the left ever so slightly. That's it, that's great. And now if you feel the boat start to go to the left, that's when you want to correct it with a bit of right. See how the boat's going to the left, you want to steer to the right. So keep going, keep going. And then after everyone had a go, it was time to head back into the Marina Basin.
You got that?
Yeah, I'm going to go behind him. Oh, maybe I won't.
Oh, wow.
With so many large boats and tugs moving around this harbour, you really got to pay attention so that you don't get in anyone's way. Coming up to a mooring or a dock, Jess counts me in on how many metres the boat has to go before we need to pull up, or head left or head right, go forward, back, whatever is needed. Once that's done, wheelhouse is shut down and the engine's turned off.
That was good.
Time for a corporate photo.
On behalf of TS Gladstone Navy Cadets, I'd like to thank you for bringing us aboard, showing us around, showing us this tour, taking us out. Thank you very much, and I'd like three cheers from all cadets. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Oh, thank you very much.
And see, you got a Brupeg hat. We don't have a hat, but we've got one of these.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Put that under the bridge so everybody can see when they go up and swim it.
It's going to become, you're starting a competition.
Thank you.
So with Brupeg tied up, it was time to head back to shore, grab the bigger boat and start ferrying cadets back to the shore.
Might need glasses.
We didn't realise this at the time, but right after we'd done our cadet work on Brupeg, there was a sailboat race happening right outside the back of Brupeg, and half of the cadets were on these boats. You can sort of see how close they are to where we were parked. This was a neat surprise for me because my background is in competition dinghy racing, so it was a real trip down memory lane when I saw them set up a start line. You can see the committee boat and the pin end across this line here, all of the boats jockeying for position, and then the gun goes and they're off into a race. This was neat. You can see the boats leaving the line on starboard tack, and then you'll also be able to see the wind from this height as darker patches on the water. So as a sailor, you're looking out for those wind patches. These boats are all working up to a buoy that's been placed in the water. It's a wee bit hard to see on the camera at the moment, but it's placed just between two moored boats in the circle just there, that little black dot. You can see the boats that are on the left hand side have sailed less distance to get there, and they've also been in better wind, so the wind has been stronger. It's also been on a better angle, so they can go more straight line towards the buoy. The ones on the right hand side had to sail a lot further to get around that top mark, and then when everybody starts convalescing on that top mark and going around, you get a downwind leg, and then at the bottom mark, everybody turns around and starts heading back upwind to go to that mark again. So as you can see, the post-cadet event entertainment was excellent, sitting out on the back of Brupeg with the drone, watching some good racing. But eventually the battery started to go flat and we had to bring her in. We didn't realise this was a thing, but that night we saw this boat going past and we realised they turned their car ferries into party boats. And we're getting used to maintaining our scooters. These things have become an integral part of stocking up Brupeg. Always amazes me how much silt gathers up on the wing. We're not even in dirty water, and you can kind of see that there. Watch when I bring it up, watch how much actually sits on the wing itself. So one thing that happened while we were out with cadets is the engine room filled with smoke, and that was new. We've not had that before and we didn't really understand why that had happened. However, before we went to sea, I went and put some more exhaust wrap. So this is a fiberglass tape basically wrapping this section of the exhaust, the hottest part. And this tape is always very scratchy and awful to touch. So I thought, wrongly it turns out, you can get this aluminium foil tape. I thought that this was heat rated, and I started wrapping this up because somebody told me to actually put this heat tape over top of the fiberglass tape and it stops the itchiness. Great idea, I thought. So I make a big cast out of, lots and lots. This is literally a roll of aluminium foil tape. However, it turns out the glue for this aluminium foil tape is not very good with heat once it gets beyond a certain temperature. It's probably fine for low temperature stuff, but no good for basically, 250 degrees or so that the exhaust is going to get in this hot section here. So this glue on the underside of this tape, basically, it didn't burn, but it just sort of smoked off. So we ended up with an engine room full of disgusting smoke smell. We were able to ventilate that. We just turned the big fan on. We're able to ventilate that. It took about probably 10 minutes to get the whole engine room completely clear of that. But that was an interesting surprise to come across when we're in the middle of training cadets on board Brupeg. It is something we need to resolve though. So we've got exposed parts of exhaust. So we've got our big 30mm thick ceramic with foil lining on the outside. So it's actually foil on both sides. But we need to basically finish blanketing the rest of this exhaust. You can see there's gaps. Wherever there's a curve, there's a gap because we haven't been able to do it. Now, right down the back, I'm in the process of putting in automated greasing systems, but right down the back here, these are the foil blankets. So you can see they're basically foil on both sides with a thick layer of ceramic on the inside, and they wrap around really beautifully on the straight parts, but they just don't do really great when it comes to the curved parts. So that's one of the jobs that we have to do over the next couple of weeks, is solve the exhaust issues. We're pretty sure we've got a solution coming up for the genset. I'll show you that up top, but that'll be in a future episode, and we think that that's going to work really well for the smaller pipe. This is what we're thinking for the genset. It's a high temperature silicon, but it's lined with fiberglass on the inside, so it's designed to basically for really hot piping and things like that. We're going to try that on the exhaust for the genset. We can't actually get anything for this big or this size for the 6-inch exhaust pipe. So yeah, exhaust pipe for the main is still going to be a challenge, but hopefully we'll solve the genset heat issue. In Brupeg's engine room, we get random bits of oil and stuff like that drop down into the build, which is pretty normal in a machinery space like this. We've got quite a few bits of machinery that, have leaks and drop oil and do whatever. And that basically means that everything accumulates in the bilge. And at the very bottom of the bilge, we have some oil. We can't pump that over the side for obvious reasons. So, enter bilge rats. These are basically oil absorbent nappies wrapped up in a plastic liner so that they sort of stay like that sort of shape. And you can just basically dump them in your bilge, tie them up. They don't absorb water, but they do absorb oil. And that way we can essentially clean out all of the crap in the bilge, and then we can give the bilge a good scrub with water and actually just get everything back to as it should be. Right, down you go. You can kind of clonk down sideways like that. So thanks to the Gladstone Navy Cadets for coming on board Brupeg. It was awesome to have you guys on board. It was a really fun day. It was busy, chaotic.
Organised chaos.
Yeah, it was very fun.
It was nice to meet you all. Thanks so much for coming on board with us. I hope you have a good break over Christmas and New Year and enjoy your school holidays.
It was great to meet you guys.
Thanks for the lovely surprise, Ellen. See you next week.